Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Sagittarius. So, Sagittarius, as usual, I'm doing this reading with my own tarot deck, so the cards that you see are from this deck. So, let's talk about how your reading has a little bit of a scorpionic vibe to it, because I do feel like you are accessing like these memories of your past, but in a way that, well, back then they would just scare you away. They would really have some sort of grip on you. And you are now able to very powerfully break that cycle of being stuck in the past or being stuck in a certain behavior or in a certain mindset or an emotional state that, or even mental state that would just hold you in place and keep you attached to a certain experience that it would take you on these super highs and super lows. But it's almost like you are now managing very well your path. It's like you're stabilizing your path because you're showing up today as the King of Pentacles. And so this card here reminded me of the message that came for Cancer, the last Cancer reading that was talking about managing abundance. In your case, I do feel like it's learning how to manage this stability in your own journey, in this human journey, because it has to do with not allowing this highs and lows to, take you to this, ecstatic experience and then to like a depressive state. Because it's almost like they were reversed, or they were um it's almost like you had no control over this movement up and down. But here you are showing up with this maturity, and I want to say like this, um yes, emotional maturity, yes, mental maturity, but above all, it's like your health has improved. For some reason this pentacle wants to be directed to your, it's like your day to day, your body, your physical experience of this realm, right? So it's like you have improved in that sense because maybe you have learned how to very well allocate the resources to focus in establishing this health condition, health improvement, right? And so the reason why now you are in a place where you can go back to the underworld, and maybe that's going to be the title of this reading today, and that's the reason why it also ties with the sign of Scorpio, right? And I know that Scorpio comes right before you, so it's almost like you have the ability, Sagittarius, to go back and forth. It's like, but it doesn't need to hold a grip on you. Going back to the underworld, and we're going to see this. It's like this diving back into that memory with a different experience, because now you know that when you resurface, it's like you're going to remain stable, you're going to remain steady, your health is not going to be impacted by these highs and lows. And it's interesting because the Eight of Cups coming next is talking about the lows, right? It's talking about how these periods of like feeling like you had like the weight of the world on your shoulder, but most of all inside your heart. It's a little bit like the Ten of Wands, but it's different because it's all on you. And sometimes I see the eights as the overlapping of two fives, so that's the reason why it was just taking me to the Ten of Wands, right? It's like the Ten of Wands is a card that, in a shared path, perhaps one of the two people there are just carrying the heavier load, right? And this could have been your own path as well. But because you have experienced the lowest of lows, right, in terms of your emotion, it feels like it's almost like you're no longer afraid of that. It's like you know that you've been there, you know how to access that, you know what it feels like to be in the lowest of lows. But now that you are stable enough, it's like the moment that you go back to this moment, it's like you know very well what is at the core value of the things that you truly it's like the things that you truly consider like they are going to keep you in this steady path. It's like the important things are here, not here, right? So it's almost like you're okay to detach from the moments that you felt low, the moments that you felt depressive, the moments that you felt like your emotions were just dragging you, down, or, just to stay in the lowest of the lows, right? So this is the downward motion. But it's interesting because it's like now you are leaving behind even this because you know that you have come to a point that you can keep your energy very steady, and that enables you to revisit that and to break that cycle once and for all, because the judgment coming next is talking about this weapon or this tool, however you want to see this. I just said weapon because it's the word that I heard right now, but most of the times, this card to me presents itself as a tool, a powerful tool that you need discernment, you need wisdom to use it, right? And for your situation in particular, Sagittarius, it feels like it's like that you have the appropriate resource to go back to a cycle that was, just bringing sorrow and heaviness and like emotional baggage, so that you can break that cycle that was just dragging you down. And so what you experience is like this it's like this rising of your energy. It's like the it's like your spirit is lifted with the Eight of Swords. And I know the Eight of Swords, comparing these two eights, right? Another eight, but this one is going up and this one is going down. That's the reason why I was saying like the ups and downs, the highs and lows. It feels like you have experienced both, right? And it's almost like this is the true meaning, I want to say, of the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords doesn't need to be a nightmare, it doesn't need to be this sleepless night that your mind cannot think of something straight, right? Or cannot calm it down. It feels actually the true meaning of this Eight of Swords is to lift your spirit when you're feeling down. But you can only see that when you have broken this cycle. And it's interesting because it's almost like now you return to this because you are steady enough, right? It's like you don't it's not a big risk to go back there and not go back to this stability. It feels like this stability is a lot more it's like it's your default now. And because of that, it's like you can go back to this situation, and then with the proper tool, with the proper weapon, however you want to see this, it's like that it's almost like this can break the chain, right? It feels a chain, maybe the chain of attachment, right? Because it's the two eights, right? Even like the distortion of the Eight of Swords, right? The traditional meaning of the Eight of Swords, how it's coming through it now. It's almost like the distortion of the Eight of Swords blocks the true value of this lifting of the spirit, because it's almost like you have experienced also the highs, right? You didn't experience only the lows, so you know what it feels like to just raise your vibration from this bottom rock to the top of the mountain. But it's almost like here that the value lies in like this beautiful balanced path, right? Not that there are not going to be like these hills and these valleys, but you know how to recognize and how to acknowledge the value of the highs and lows, right? Because you've been through them. And so now with this tool, it's like you can go back and it's like you can separate yourself from the need of experiencing these intensities, right? The intensity of going down and the intensity of going up. It's almost like you're regulating your body, you're regulating your emotions, you're regulating your mind, your thoughts. So emotionally and mentally, you're not seeing any of these, I want to say, as good or bad. It's not a matter of judging them or criticizing them or labeling them. It's a matter of just feeling the downward motion and then the upward motion, and learning how to balance this in this human body, in this human vessel, right? What it's like what feels good to you, right? So it feels like maybe you're going through a situation where you can go back to this because you are revisiting it with the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is right underneath the Eight of Cups. And so it feels like you're going down. And maybe at first, before you remember that you do have this tool, this weapon in your hand to break this cycle that was keeping you like in this attachment, right? It's like attachment to like feeling low, the attachment to feeling, high. It's like you don't need to go to these extremes. That's how I'm seeing it. But how you can break this cycle is by remembering how low you felt and how now you are navigating the same memory, but from this heart space, because you're showing up with love, right? You're showing up with the Knight of Cups. So what this combination of cards was showing me was that now this is no longer a memory that brings sorrow or sadness or negative or heavy emotions. Actually, this is a fond memory. This is what I'm hearing, a fond memory, because it's almost like you took the responsibility in your hands and you broke that cycle. Even it's like even releasing this, even releasing that distortion of the Eight of Swords, of, perhaps seeing that going very, very high was something negative. It was the lifting of the spirit that didn't need to be seen as a negative thing, right? But in contrast to the lows of lows, it would be kind of like the way out, right? Almost like as oh my god, how do you say that word? Escapism? Just a second. Sorry about that. So, going back to this fond memory of yours, it feels like now you're ready, Sagittarius, to return to a specific point, a very delicate one, maybe one that really, it takes you back to a moment where you felt like you were not going to, get up from that, or get rid of the sensation that you were just sinking into yourself, right? Or into your emotions, these heavy emotions. But then you don't have to either like go up to the skies as if you were escaping reality, right? So this escapism, it doesn't need to be some sort of bad thing either. It could be just this lifting up of your energy, releasing all of your emotions, all of your thoughts in regards to this very like a very dynamic journey, right? Of experiencing the lows and experiencing the highs. So the moment that you return to this memory of maybe your lowest point or maybe your highest point, it really doesn't matter because it feels like they come in pairs, right? It's almost like following the lowest of lows comes like the highest of highs. But then, it would always follow that cycle, but now because you are, it's like carrying this tool, right? This it's like you are responsibly using a specific resource that you have because you are owning that responsibility with the King of Pentacles. You are learning how to use this tool as the thing that is going to reframe your memory, and instead of being a very dark and a very scary thing to remember, it's actually going to be like this very fond memory. It's like you're going to be thankful to carry that remembrance within you because it's almost like it brings the best in you. It brings your love, it brings your generosity, it brings your compassion, not just to yourself, because this is you looking backwards. Maybe, your present self and your past self, right? It's like you having a lot of self compassion for your earlier version that didn't know how to swing out of this cycle, right? Of lows and highs and all of that. So now you are directing all of that love because you know that like it came in a way from this, right? So you carry a fond memory, a fond remembrance because of everything that you had to experience, and now reliving it is like you know that you're able to surpass that, especially because you know that you're not going to get stuck. Because we're ending here with the hangman, and I know that the traditional meaning is to be stuck. That's the thing. It's like because you are, it's almost like you are choosing it. You are consciously going there to the underworld, right? This is all talking about like revisiting the underworld, revisiting, first of all, the lows, right? Maybe a very specific memory of your lowest point in life, at least in this lifetime, that really left a mark in you. It's like you're choosing to go there because you know that you can go there now with harmony, with love, with balance, right? Because you are steady and because you know that you are anchored in a sense to the ground, to the earth, right? You are very grounded because you have achieved that, right? That sense of self mastery in terms of your stability, both emotional and mental and physical, perhaps. That you know that you have assistance. This is actually how this is showing me. It's almost like you know that you can look back and not get attached to the past or not stay stuck in that memory. It's not something that is going to hold a grip on you any longer because it's like you're showing just love to it. And the way that is receiving it, it's just love. So there is no attachment in love, like true love, like this very unconditional love with self, right? And of course, it will resonate to your other relationships, even though I'm not seeing like this coming, at least not as immediate as one would think, right? It's like it first happens with you in a very memorable way. That's the reason why now this is a fond memory. There is no judgment in regards to what you did, how you reacted, what was your attitude back then. It's like there is just love for who you were back then because you accept that, yes, if you were stuck, you are no longer, because now you have assistance. And this, what this rope is showing me is that the moment that you drop back into that space, that lowest of lows memories, it's like you go back to that situation, but you know that you have left this rope so that you can resurface back to the surface or back to the ground level, right? You can come back to this earthly realm. You can, it's like, you know that you have enough or that you are enough, that you're not going to lose yourself in this memory. You're not going to stay stuck there. It's the opposite in a sense of the hangman meaning, right? It's like you have achieved a new perspective. You have seen this memory from a new point of view. So reframing this gives you access to finding your way out of this pit, right? Or this hole that somehow you found yourself back in the past. So, and maybe it's almost like, I don't want to say that you did this, but it's the sense that I'm having with the Eight of Swords, the distorted Eight of Swords, right? Not the true meaning of lifting up your spirit, but it's almost like if the tool that you're now owning, right, is like this self responsibility of using this tool to break this cycle and reverse the meaning of the Eight of Swords, knowing that this was required in a sense for you to reframe all of this pattern of going up and down and up and down, you know now that back then it's like the way that you were perceiving the Eight of Swords was in a very immature way. It's like you were handing off your power, right? It's like you weren't using this tool, this judgment or this hammer or this it's like whatever this tool is for you, maybe discernment. It's like you were handing it off to somebody else, right? Maybe to the sky, maybe to, other entities. Maybe if we, you know, would want to bring like, these dark energies that would, in a sense, break free. And I'm thinking like drugs and all of that, like these escapism type of a quick way out, basically, right? So tools that would lift your spirit, but just momentarily, and then you would drop back into that pit hole. But you know now that once you own that, it's like you don't need those quick routes. It's like you don't need that. That's the reason why now you feel like you are being lifted, because this is the assistance. It's like it's almost like now you have learned how to call in like this divine help, right? Because sometimes to me the swords, they do represent spirit, and it's almost like this is almost like changing not just the memory but also how you perceive spirituality, or how you perceive like actual help coming from the divine, because it doesn't need to be like this quick solution. It is not. In fact, it is so permanent that whenever you need to go down again and relive things from the past, it's like you will have this rope, right? It's like you will have, it's almost like I'm seeing this as like something that the moment that you pull it, it's like it's going to pull you up again, right? It's like it's going to take you in a very quick way back from that memory, back from the past, and here, right, into your now, right, into your present life. So even this is changing because you have established like this. It's like you're more stable than ever. And it's interesting because the bottom of the deck is the Four of Pentacles, right? So talking about this very stable foundation, it's like you know that you have achieved stability, and it's almost like you're not going to be shaken or torn apart or destructed, or you're not going to be fooled, which is interesting because it's like now you are owning it. It's like you're not handing out your power anymore. That's the reason why this is not an escapism. This is not a quick way out. In fact, this is your spirit being lifted, right? Because you are grounded. It's like you're not going to be taken out of your reality. In fact, you're just going to be lifted to where you need to be, to your strong foundation, right? To this reality, to your present moment. So that's the reason why you're not stuck, right? You're not stuck either in the past or in the future. It's like you are in the present. And that's the reason why you are liberated from this feeling of stuckness, right? I don't even know if that's the right word, but you know what I mean, right? You are no longer stuck. That's the reason why you can afford, right? Also, with the King of Pentacles, you can afford going back to that moment, to that memory, to reframe it, because you're taking only love, but also you're grounding your energy where you need to go back to afterwards, right? So, Sagittarius, I am going to pull more cards for you as well as the astrological runes in the extended reading. So, if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, see you next time. Bye.